So when thinking of dorky Marvel characters, who do people think of? People could jump to a lot of different conclusions. Might depend on how much they respect someone like Captain America or Hawkeye. A lot of times, you know who I hear? Ant-Man. Like, oh my gosh, it's the guy who shrinks.
We'd rather make Marvel movies. Finish rounding out this Ant-Man character.
Ant-Man, the guy who shares the same name as a bug. Ant-Man, the guy who got a whole trilogy of movies for Wonder Woman or something. Here's the thing about Ant-Man though. This isn't the original Ant-Man. Like within a lot of this Ant-Man discourse. Don't you guys know this Ant-Man isn't even the Ant-Man? The original Ant-Man, Hank Pym, is an original founding Avenger with Hank Van Dyne. The original Ant-Man created Ultron, and that whole conflict there. Now, there'd be a whole conflict of reasons why Ant-Man is the way he is in MCU, but the main reason is it was just the artistic intention of Edgar Wright. He had his vision of an older Hank Pym, passing down the mantle to a younger Scott Lang, who would partake in a sort of heist movie. Thing is though, Edgar Wright never got to make his Ant-Man movie. Bro got fired. And it just makes this thing seem like a whole half measure. Like you couldn't even commit to his version of Ant-Man and borrowed a skeleton of it to make something else. Then again, this is the Marvel machine where everything's gotta conform to it. Like, it's all just really weird. If a bunch of people talk about Ant-Man without realizing, oh, a version of this was like an original Avenger. You know how weird it is to have an Ant-Man trilogy and no Ultron within it? Like, for some reason, they decide to pluck Ultron from Ant-Man and give it to Tony Stark, as if bro doesn't have enough revolve around him. Like, sure, they both have robotics. Kind of takes away from the fact that Hank created an AI they thought could help the world, but ended up going south. Like, they mention, oh, Vision, he's part Tony Stark, part Bruce Banner. Ultron, Infinity Stone, part Jarvis. And it's like, no Ant-Man in there? Had throw in Bruce Banner, but no Ant-Man? You know, even without Hank Pym, the Ultron thing could have been cool to set up throughout, like, multiple movies, like setting up Tony trained AI, to later see the progression of it going south. Here, the AI's created, scours the internet, then decides he hates everything. That's what it was like in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Ultron was set up for a bit. There's a critical situation where Hank had to program violence with the Ultrons, and then eventually Ultron gone bad. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero is unique within the whole Hank Pym conundrum. For starters, an Avengers roster where they did originally have Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. A lot of people simp for Janet in that show. They also have some changes with Hank Pym, like he's a little more likable than in the comics, going with more pacifist angle, to later get affected by everything going wrong. I don't know, they had a decent angle for the character. Anyway, that's my take for the whole Hank Pym debacle. I don't know, maybe good to keep in mind whenever people talk about Ant-Man, like which one? Or like who should influence Ultron more? Maybe whenever they reboot the MCU, they can incorporate more of that Ant-Man. Anyway, cheers.